So as Father said, it is Father's Day Eve. So I want to wish all you men out there a happy Father's Day. And I think I told this story last year about this time. In the places I go, I am called by many, many names. Some good, some not, but many, many names. And last year, I even told you what my nickname was in high school. Now, if you can remember that, and you see me on the way out, you get a bonus bag of popcorn, all right? So you get one, but you get a bonus if you can tell me what that is. Now, some of you last year, out of the kindness of your heart or just by mistake, told me what your nickname was. And I have to warn you, almost everything that goes in these ears is fair game for a homily. But we won't talk about that now. But of all the things that I am called, my favorite is Dad. And there are only two people in this world that can call me that. So that's my favorite. And I'm sure for you men out there who are fathers, it's yours too. So happy Father's Day to all of you. Now in our readings today, we encounter a God who is always trying to gather us to himself. In the first reading, we heard God working through Moses to gather the Israelites to himself by telling them that if they listen to his voice and keep his covenant, they will be his prized possession. And then we have Jesus in our gospel amongst a crowd of people who are troubled and confused and left to spiritually fend for themselves. And Jesus had pity on them because he knew that in this state they were vulnerable to those who would come to separate them, scatter them, and divide them. Vulnerable to those who would come to lead them away from true happiness, true freedom, true peace. Vulnerable to those who would lead them away from a loving relationship with God and lead them away from the one who had come to free them, to set them free. Now, there were so many of these people that Jesus summoned his apostles to help him gather all those people to himself. So they were to go out into the towns, do all the same work that Jesus had been doing, and proclaim to those they met that the kingdom of heaven is here. It's at hand. It's right here. Now, today, right now, Jesus is still working to gather us to himself. In our world, we see division. We notice the attempts to confuse and to scatter. We see the efforts of people tempting others with prosperity and a false sense of happiness, sometimes just to make a buck, sometimes to gain control over them. We see people being led away from the very one they are really searching for. And you know what? We see these people, we know these people, and we love these people. And maybe we even feel kind of like Jesus did towards the crowd, that sense of pity. And that feeling for us is important because that is our cue. Because of our love for Jesus, because of our love for our neighbor, we respond to that prompting. And we respond by adding our name to the list of the 12 that were sent. And with a courageous heart, we go out there wherever it is Jesus sends us. So we help Jesus gather those who are at our work, gather those who are at school, gather those in our family, gather those at the margins of society to himself. So God is always working to gather us to himself. And we have a role in that. We help Jesus. Now, our work, like the work of the initial 12, it's a little different. Our work begins with our physical presence. And it's not just a regular presence, it's a listening presence. Listening is an act of love. So if the person we are with is open and true, and we are open and true, and we really care about one another, then this listening that we do over time can eventually lead to trust. And if this trust is authentic, and it will be tested to be sure it's authentic, if this trust between us is true and authentic, then that can lead to an invitation from the one we are with to carefully enter into their heart. And if we accept that invitation and go there and share whatever it is they are holding there, we can bless them. We can bless them with our presence. We can bless them with our love. We can bless them with the truth. We can bless them by proclaiming the gospel message right into their life, affirming for them who they really are, a beloved son or a beloved daughter of God. So our presence, our listening, our patience can lead to or result in an encounter with the love of Jesus. And that can change a person's life. So God is always working to gather us to himself. Jesus is always working to gather us to himself. We help Jesus by listening to the people we are with, the ones we care about, the ones we are in love with, and leading them to the kingdom of heaven, which is here, right now. And that is where they will find true happiness, true peace, true freedom in the person they are actually searching for. So that's us being called and sent today like the 12. So when you leave here tonight and go wherever it is God sends you, know that he is only sending you there. And when you get there, add your name to the list of 12 and either begin to listen or keep doing the good work of listening to the person you are with. You might just introduce them to the love of Jesus.